Hello, everybody. Welcome along to Sportsbet TV. Paul Alster here with you. Looking forward to Boxing Day. And we have 11 meetings across Britain and Ireland. And at the moment, this message being recorded mid-afternoon on Christmas Eve. It looks like the weather is going to be okay. And we should have a full schedule of racing. So let's keep everything crossed and let's hope that's the case. And before I go any further, I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I hope you have a wonderful day and wish you all the very best, of course, for the new year ahead. Let's hope it is a good, a happy, healthy and a profitable one as well. Well, I'm looking forward to Boxing Day. One of the challenges of Boxing Day, of course, is those 11 meetings that there's so much to look at. You can miss things that maybe you've been looking out for. But what I've done is focus on the big meeting for you. It's going to be on ITV, and I'm sure many of you will be sitting down to this after you've had your Boxing Day lunch and all those leftover pieces of turkey. And you'll be hoping to find a winner or two on what is a great day's racing. So I've got two selections for you. If you happen to be new, by the way, to this service where I look to try and tip horses at good each way prices, then please press the subscribe button just below this screen. It is a free tipping service, so you can follow me whenever you like, and it's your choice as to whether or not you take my advice or not. So let me take you to my first selection for Boxing Day, and it is the big one. It is the 2:30. It is the King George VI chase, of course, 3 miles, 9 runners this year, and they're forecasting soft ground for the Sunbury circuit. Now, you don't need me to tell you this is one of the greatest races of the National Hunt year. It is the mid-season championship. We've seen so many wonderful horses win this over the years. In more recent times, you know, the likes of Desert Orchid, multiple winner, and of course, Cato's Star. And there have been so many other great moments. Frodon's win a couple of years ago was particularly memorable, and he's back for more this time around. I wonder if we're going to see a really good horse win it. Well, the betting suggests that the one to beat is Venetia Williams's L'Empresse, who put up a tremendous performance first time out this season when he beat Into Overdrive, who was receiving £26, and that was in the Grade 3 rehearsal chase at Newcastle. Now, since then, L'Empresse has been reassessed to an official mark of 170, which is a Gold Cup winning level. Now, he won a Grade 1 race, the Brown Advisory Novice Chase at the Cheltenham Festival last March. And he looks a very good horse. There's no two ways about it. But this is a step up. It's a step up from beating handicappers at Newcastle last time. He's racing the other way around, although he's got no problems going right-handed. And I think he's sure to be there or thereabouts. But at current odds, mid-afternoon on Christmas Eve, he's about 15-8, which I think is a bit skinny, far too skinny for me, that's for sure. Now, the other horse that a lot of people are talking about is a young horse called Brave Man's Game, trained by Paul Nicholls, who has a remarkable winning record in this race. Now, Brave Man's Game beat his old rival, Ahoy Senor, the Lucinda Russell trader Ahoy Senor. At this meeting last year at Kempton's Christmas meeting, he won the Grade 1 Cato's Star Novice Chase over course and distance. And those two, of course, Brave Man's Game and Ahoy Senor, had quite a few tussles last year. But already this season, Brave Man's Game has the upper hand in that little battle because he won the Grade 2 Charlie Hall Chase at Wetherby in very impressive style. His jumping was particularly fast and accurate, and he ran on very strongly to beat Eldorado Allen, who also goes in the King George on Boxing Day. He's a horse with a big future, is Brave Man's Game. But again, this is a step up. It's a step up in class. And there's just nothing quite to match taking on top-notch Grade 1 horses as opposed to Grade 2 horses or very smart handicappers. Again, I'm not convinced he's value. I'm not convinced Ahoy Senor is quite made the progress this season that we hoped he would. He's a wonderful, lucky horse. He could be a national horse in time. And Eldorado Allen, while he's rock solid and he's very talented, I can't see him being good enough to win a King George. Now, Paul Nicholls is also recommended by Hitman, one of whose part owners is Sir Alex Ferguson. And this horse won really well in a 2 mile, 5 furlong graduation chase at Haydock in November. But he's yet to really prove himself at this trip. And this is a tough race to have to prove yourself because, okay, it is a flat 3 miles. It isn't undulating and it isn't steep finishes like you have, say, at Cheltenham or at Sandown. But the thing about that is that the flip side of the coin is that they tend to usually go a very strong gallop. And especially in soft ground, if there's any horse with the slightest doubt as far as stamina goes, they will definitely be found out at Kempton in this race. And I'm worried that Hitman might not prove strong enough at this trip. However, one horse who will stay is Venetia Williams' apparent second string, Royal Pagaille, who we know is a very, very useful horse, and the softer the better for him. So if there's another deluge, that will only increase his chances. He is tough and he is a good jumper. But this is his first run of the campaign, and while he's gone well fresh, this is a very hard race to start out in, and he'll have to be absolutely above and beyond anything he's ever done before to win. Then we come to Frodon, who's the third of the Paul Nicholls train runners, and of course his love story with Brian and Frost is very well documented. These two just get on so well. They've won so many races together, and he has been a marvellous horse for connections. He's a great jumper, a wonderful front runner, and you'll remember 2 years ago he beat Waiting Patiently in the King George to memorable scenes and a rapturous reception. He was fourth in the race as well last year, but I think most people will probably agree that he's not quite as good now as he was a couple of years ago. And although the heart might say it would be wonderful to see him win another one, it's hard really to put your money down to do that. It wouldn't surprise if he managed to cling on for a place, but I'm not sure he's good enough to win. And that brings me to my selection. And the choice for this year's King George for me is Envoy Allen, the Irish raider, trained by Henry de Bromhead and the mount of the great Rachel Blackmore. Now, of course, Envoy Allen was a horse who made so many headlines because he won his first 11 races, unbeaten in his first 11 starts. That included the champion bumper at Cheltenham, and also at the Cheltenham Festival he won the 2 mile 5 furlong Ballymore Novices Hurdle in 2020. He's also won a Grade 1 novice chase over 2.5 miles, and he was a 4-9 chance when he fell at the fourth at the 2021 Cheltenham Festival in the Marsh Novices Chase, before going on to run poorly when he went lame at Punchestown the time after at the end of the 21 season. Now, last term, he won a Grade 1 and a Grade 2 at 2 miles 1 and 2 miles 4. And then he had a breathing operation. And then twice he ran into the mighty Energumene over 2 miles, including when he finished third in the champion chase. And then again in the Punchestown champion chase behind Energumene. Now, there's little doubt to me that Envoy Allen was flat to the boards in those two races. And that 2 miles really was too sharp for him. So I was very interested in him when he ran over the 3 miles at Down Royal on Bonfire Night in November in the Grade 1 Ladbroke Champion Chase. Now, the truth is that for much of the race, he wasn't actually travelling that well, and he did make 1 or 2 slight errors. But once they came into the final half mile, it was to me as if a switch had been flicked, and he seemed to be so much happier with the longer trip. And indeed, coming to the last, he put in a good jump at the last and then strayed on really strongly to beat Kemboy, who of course is a 4-time Grade 1 winner and also the Irish Gold Cup winner of last season, Conflated. So it was a really hot race. And that for me, in my mind, has confirmed that Envoy Allen could well prove to be better at the 3 miles than ever he has been at 2 or 2.5. And he is a very high class horse. A Grade 1 horse who we now know stays the trip. He will handle the ground, whatever it is, goes on anything from heavy to good ground. And of course, some would say it might even be written in the stars, because we all know what happened, the tragedy that struck the de Bromhead family a few months ago when he lost his teenage son, Jack, in a pony riding accident. And there wouldn't be a dry eye in the house if Envoy Allen were to prevail under Rachel Blackmore. And I'm sure they'll be giving it everything to try and get this horse absolutely spot on to give of his very best. I think he has a massive each way chance. I think he is the value, and at the 7-1 offered at the time of this recording with William Hill and Bet UK amongst others, I think that Envoy Allen will give us a great run for our money at a respectable price in the King George at Kempton on Saturday. So that, of course, is a great race to look forward to. I have one more tip for you for Boxing Day, but just before we give you that, here are the details of how to sign up for my Patreon premium tipping service, which is definitely worth checking out, especially as over the holiday period between Boxing Day and New Year's Day, I'll be tipping every day but one with at least 3 or 4 selections a day. So here's what it's all about. Hello, I'm Paul Alster. Since July 2020, my followers have enjoyed some really great success here with my regular Saturday and festival tips here at Sportsbet TV. Well, now I'm offering an enhanced tipping service called Out in Front, aiming for plenty of big odds selections on far more racing days. So to continue receiving my profitable and enjoyable each way and often long odds racing selections, sign up now on Patreon for my low-cost, brand new live tipping service where you can interact with me and ask questions and comment in real time. So signing up to Out in Front only takes 2 minutes. First, choose a membership, then sign up, add a payment method, and then you'll get all the benefits of being an Out in Front member. I can't wait to see you, so sign up to the new Out in Front real-time tipping service with me, Paul Alster. So that's my Patreon service, tipping service, and definitely worth taking a look and having a think about joining us. You can sign up anytime, you can leave anytime as well. There's no tie-ins whatsoever. I'm confident enough about the product to not commit anybody to any particular time period, but I'm sure that over a period of time that you stay with it, it will prove profitable, just as has been the case at Sportsbet this season and every other season. And while I come to it, we published our 6 of the best here at Sportsbet a few days ago. Very many thanks to those of you that got in touch and left messages, some very kind messages on the YouTube page, and also contacting me through other social media sources as well. Really very much appreciated all your kind words. I'm taking you on to my second selection now for Boxing Day. We're back at Kempton, and it's the final race of the day there, the 340. A 2-mile 5 furlong handicap hurdle and a big field of 15 runners on what is expected to be soft ground. Now we've got a very clear favourite here in Grey Dawning for Dan Skelton, around 9-4 at the time of this recording, a winner of 2 bumpers, and second on his hurdles bow over 2.5 miles at Aintree in November, and then he beat Lollygag at Exeter over 2 miles last time. The runner-up has come out on one since to frank the form. The rating that he's been handed for his handicap debut here of 123 looks on the generous side, so there's no doubt about it, he should be thereabouts, but I think 9-4 favourite in a big field against better horses than he's met thus far looks a little bit skinny. Now, Nicky Henderson will be hoping for some big successes, including with Constitution Hill and the Christmas Hurdle, etc., on Boxing Day. But he's actually won this race for the last 2 years, and he has a Theatre Glory in the race, who ended last term with a hat-trick, including winning a listed mares novices hurdle at the April meeting at Cheltenham. This one unseated its rider just at the 4th flight in the Grade 3 handicap hurdle at Newbury a month ago, so that wouldn't have been the most ideal return to action. It's amongst the market principles, is Theatre Glory. And then Nicky also has the Bomber Lister, a winner of a Uttoxeter maiden hurdle in 2021. It was 8th at the Punchestown Festival in a handicap hurdle this April, and that's been its only run in the whole of 2022. So interesting that it's been very lightly raced and remains unexposed. Any market moves for the Bomber Lister, I think, would be worth noting. Ben Pauling, who's been having a fairly good autumn, runs a couple here. Optimise Prime, who won a Linkfield 2.5 mile handicap hurdle in November. He's gone up £5 for that. And he's got one called What's Up With You? And that one has got the cheek pieces on for the first time. And they put Bo Morgan on, claiming £7. And he should be better for a run last month at Fontwell. Gary Moore has got Wyomini. For those of you that you remember, it's a knockout. Wyomini, who was a solid second last time out at Plumpton. And Paul Nicholls has a horse called Ivaldi, who's only had the 2 runs in the UK and only 3 runs in its life, and was beaten just half a length by Scarface, albeit in a 3-runner race at Ascot in Novices Hurdle last time. He makes his handicap debut off a mark of 124. So those are a number of the contenders, but the one here that I think could go well at a very, very big price is called Storm Dennis, and he's trained by Chris Gordon and is ridden by the very popular jockey with some of the worst initials in racing, Sam Twiston-Davies. Now, Storm Dennis has won 3 of his 11 races and has been placed a further 3 times. And he was a horse who improved throughout last season, winning at Huntingdon over 2.5 miles in a handicap hurdle in January of 112. And then he followed up at Kempton over this course and distance in February of 22. And that, of course, the big meeting where they have the old Racing Post Chase and other good races like the Dovecote Hurdle. He stayed on really strongly from the final flight to beat Carrie's Commodity by a neck of 117. Now, after that, he had his break. He went early into his break and had 7 months off. And then they decided to have a go at chasing with him. And he made his debut at Stratford in October over fences. And if you have a look at it, you can see he just was not happy over the fences. He didn't enjoy it. Sometimes this happens. Doesn't mean because a horse can jump hurdles well, it's going to jump fences well. He just never looked at ease. And I think you can completely draw a line through that. Now, he's had 3 months off since then. So obviously he was a bit of a miserable horse, I think, after that. He really wasn't very happy. And he's now back from a break and returning to the track where he won over course and distance just 2 starts ago. Indeed, the last time that he ran over hurdles, and he's only a pound higher. So I think he's got a lot going for him, especially if you ignore his last run and work on the assumption that he just did not take to fences. I think that Storm Dennis is grossly overpriced. And indeed, Bet365 at the time of this recording are going 33 to 1 each way for 4 places. That is massive. I wouldn't expect that to last too long, but I'm sure there'll be plenty going 25s and such. Although, if enough of you have a couple of bob on this, that might change. So for me, Storm Dennis is definite value against the likes of Great Dawning and the Bomber Liston and Theatre Glory and Ivaldi, etc. I think he'll run very well at a track that obviously has suited him well. He is a previous course and distance winner. So those are my 2 for Boxing Day. Let's hope it is a great day's racing, a great advert for the racing industry, which has had plenty of ups and downs over the last few months. I hope you have a really lovely Christmas day, and I'll look forward to you to talking to you again just ahead of the New Year's action. So for now, from me, Paul Alster at Sportsbet, is bye-bye for now. Take care and Merry Christmas.